Not sure if many of you know, but we do have a virtual tier within the Design Coven, virtual pro member tier, which includes 3 virtual meetings a month where we set intentions. We do group coaching. So bring all your questions. We answer those questions and you get to learn from other people going through the same struggles as you. We also do a business practice meeting. So we'll have somebody on to share a business practice that we can all benefit from. And then we also do a product training. So getting a sustainable, eco-friendly line to come on, share who they are so that we can be supported with other like-minded businesses. And if you're not quite ready for pro, you can always join our free community where you will connect with other like-minded holistic interior designers. You don't have to be an interior designer if you are kind of just dabbling or you're aspiring or you're looking into this field. We invite everybody from all journeys, and you don't, again, have to be a designer. You don't have to have a degree. We're just a beautiful community of like-minded people looking to create healing spaces, not just for ourselves, but for our clients and future clients. Come join us at designcoven.com/join. You're listening to the Holistic Interior Design Business Podcast. This is a podcast that guides you as a new or inspiring independent interior designer navigating your entrepreneurial path. Here, with my over 20 years experience, I will share my holistic approach to design with intention and ancient practices, including feng shui, all incorporating mind, body, and spirit into my design projects. You will also learn from seasoned interior designers as they give strategies and insight of how they built their businesses and continue to work in the field. Together, we will discover supportive trade partners, new ideas, creatives, and inspiring artists from around the world. I am your host, Rachel Larraine Crawford. Hello, welcome back. Today we have a design refresh with JP, and I'm super excited to take a look at his space and the little challenge area that he's got. So before we start that, we will light a candle to get us into the present moment, connecting with our spirit guides, higher selves, all of that. You know, when we're connecting with our spaces, it's so sacred. And so I like to just honor that aspect of it. So I've got a beautiful beeswax candle from Mithras. I'm going to ring our bell to call in, again, just the spirits and creating space to be present in our moment. And then I would like to pull a card. So I am pulling from Ink Witch Tarot, which is a fantastic deck by Eric Maille, and he's done some really cool watercolor art. So we're going to pull from his deck. And he's an artist out in Oklahoma, which I met on Instagram, and I just really connected with his energy and what he was creating. And I'm reading all the cards right side up. So we've got the Three of Swords. And the Three of Swords comes in whenever we're needing a shift, a change, some healing in the heart space, which I think is really beautiful because we're working in the southeast corner of JP's room, which is actually the love corner. So I would like to infuse a bit of love into that space, and we'll talk about how we can do that. So yeah, it's like really the heart space is opening up. It's connection with healing, and so we'll dive into that area. Very cool. So I'm going to just keep that out for us to have as our sort of our corner card. And then I am going to share what I'm nourishing myself with, because I always like to incorporate the water element. And it's a Saturday, so I've got Nova Kombucha, and it's the alcohol version, and it's cactus fruit, agave, and jalapeno. So I'm having a little kombucha party over here. JP, what do you got?
I'm drinking coffee out of my Japanese weather symbol mug.
Awesome.
So, yeah.
And do you collect mugs as well?
No. I just,
okay.
if I see a mug that I like, I'll drink out of it.
Dang it. We were just talking ahead of time that JP is a big collector of several things. And we'll get to see that in some of the photos, which is really cool. All right. So tell me about this space. Tell me about your home and what does it mean to you right now, and the space that we're going to be working in.
My house, I love it. I bought it 4 years ago, almost 4 years ago, and it's in Los Angeles. It's uh, about 100 years old. It might be 110. I'm not quite certain, but it was made by a man. It's made out of Arroyo stone. It's a wood frame, and then he dragged by mule these massive stone from the Arroyo Seco River and built this house. And there's a quite a few stone homes up where I am. I'm in the close to the foothills of the Angeles National Forest. And when I saw it, I fell in love with this house. It's small, it's perfect for me. My girlfriend's the only other person who really spends a significant amount of time here. And um, I it's been a heck of a bite to chew off as my first home, just because of the complications of and limitations of what you can do to a house of that's made of this material. There are some challenges with the amount of light. There are because the living room, which I had sent you photos of, there used to be a big window here. And
Okay.
the entry room, which I also sent you a photo of, used to be the exterior of the house. And then probably 60, 70 years ago, someone covered it and it became an entryway sunroom kind of scenario. So
Got it.
now I only am getting light in this room from the north side. And I guess a little bit from the entry room through the doorway. So therefore the southeast corner is dark to me and feels just aesthetically, it feels top heavy, and there's a built-in shelf system that someone constructed, and all the wood elements in the house are made of oak, which is, when I think of oak, I don't think I'm going to be a fan of oak.
Yeah.
But there are also these amazing California live coast oak all over this area, and there's a massive oak on this property. So I've developed a new appreciation for it, and it's beautiful if you stain it right and all that stuff. But the mantle, so the stone of the house is also the fireplace and the chimney and all that jazz. And the mantle goes all the way across the fireplace and then extends over to the wall. And that seems pointless, but maybe
Correct.
it's a good thing. I don't know. But it just slices that corner up when there could be something vertical there, light and vertical, or nothing. And that's where I'm having trouble
Okay. I'm gonna
determining what
share.
the heck's going on.
I'm gonna share my screen here so that we can look at this space. And I was just looking at the card and stuff, and I was like, oh my gosh, it said southeast. You're in the southeast corner, and that's actually the money corner. So take back what I said earlier today. So we're in the money space versus the love space in this corner here. Okay, so with this fireplace, that mantle was the first thing that I noticed as being a block. So are you down for removing that?
I am. I mean, it scares me a little bit, I'll be honest, but yeah, I'm up for whatever. I'm up for ditching the mirror. I'm up for putting a big piece of art there instead.
Yeah.
I have a larger piece of art that's going to go behind my couch where this Russian space propaganda is. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, and I love the stone. The fireplace is gorgeous. So I definitely would take off the mantle, if not cut it back to where it would just be equal on each side, just maybe 4 inches off on each side there. I would take down the mirror as well and do a piece of art there. I feel like it's so choppy and compartmentalized. It's kind of
Yeah.
funky. Um, you got like a little basket to the left of the sofa. Is that for like blankets or magazines, or what's the purpose of the?
There's no purpose for it right now.
Okay. So what I'm wanting to do is really give some air and some space to that because you had mentioned it being a little bit dark in there, and so I really wanted
Hmm.
to
Oh,
not
do you mean the
uncozy,
one
but
next to the fireplace?
no, but I was going to ask about
Or
that
the
too
one
because
on the
that has firewood in it,
Okay,
right? The
correct.
empty one.
Yeah, there's no
Yeah.
purpose for it.
Okay, so basically what I want to do is move that out of the space and pull your sofa over closer to that
Hmm.
doorway so that we're
Okay.
releasing some air there. And then the
Hmm.
basket with the firewood, is that there because you use that firewood for the fireplace, and then is that how you store your wood,
Yes,
or
it
is it more
also
aesthetic?
doesn't need to. It doesn't need to be there.
Okay.
Um, yeah,
Okay, so I would
I
move
don't use
that
the
out as
fireplace
well.
as much anymore. So
Got it.
okay.
Okay, so I would move that out just to, again, relieving some space in there. And then
Hmm.
the fixture, the bookcase, the mobile bookcase that's in there, which is a really cool
Hmm.
piece, and I like to use those in a lot of mid-century homes. Is that was an afterthought, or someone else put that in there? It's not something that you did?
No, someone else did that.
Okay. It's really cool. We could do one of two things. We could utilize it. So basically, we're going to take out the mantle, create something
Hmm.
shorter, remove the mirror, do a smaller
Hmm.
piece of art that's probably 6 inches on each side of the fireplace. So it's smaller than the actual fireplace because right now it's overbearing. And then
Hmm.
if we wanted to keep that shelving unit, I would take out that little side table, take out the lamp, and just create a really beautiful curated bookcase with that. And then you can
Hmm.
put a collection of sorts. And I would, when it comes to collections, it's really beautiful to bring like all things that are alike together
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
create something there. We could also do like a light fixture hanging from the ceiling that would act as your table lamp, but it would be
Hmm.
suspended so it wouldn't be as heavy. And by pulling that sofa over, you would have some space for it to kind of just float there, and that would give
Hmm.
you light in that corner.
Hmm.
The other thing is you could just do a gorgeous light fixture without having any of that stuff there. Do something that's, you said your home was built in the 1900s, like about 100
Yeah.
years ago, 1920s maybe.
Yeah.
You could find like a vintage chandelier light fixture that's, dramatic and big, and just create almost like a piece of art sculpture with light in
Hmm.
that corner and not have any of the bookshelves and any of the other stuff there. And then
Hmm.
that would just give purpose to that space. It would give you some relief. It would give some airiness to it. And then you're going to add one piece of art to the left of your sofa. Is it pretty
Hmm.
large? Like a horizontal piece?
Yeah, it's a horizontal piece.
Yeah. And then I would just like
It's large.
I would lower it down so it's probably like 8 inches off the back of the cushion. So probably
Hmm.
like 4 inches lower than where the current piece is now, just to drop it down a little
Hmm.
bit, depending on how
Hmm.
big it is. And then add like a couple pillows. I know you have a throw that's folded up. I would like to just see a throw kind of just in the corner, and I would do the corner to the
Hmm.
left toward the door. Put like two
Hmm.
pillows there, and then do one throw pillow in the corner if you're going to have that
Hmm.
beautiful light fixture. And then that's
Okay.
it. It's like just makes this beautiful dramatic piece there. And I see that you have other collections, and maybe we put the collections, and you've got other places. You showed me the other rooms, and I can share those. Yeah, so you've got like plenty of space to show the collections. And same thing in the current room with that corner glass
Hmm.
piece. So I would really want to create just like a really dramatic art, sort of an art corner with light, and keep it simple. What do you feel about
I
all that?
think, I mean, the hanging light is something I had thought of. Cutting the mantle is something I've thought of. I just don't want to mess it up, But
Yeah.
it doesn't
Yeah.
sound like I can. I mean, it's just wood. It's not like I'm,
You're not tearing down
blowing up the
walls.
house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really just about pulling that off, saving the beautiful stone, and then if you get a master craftsman or somebody that really knows what they're doing with wood to create, a really pretty mantle, or you could even find like a reclaimed piece of wood that they create mantles from. If you wanted to keep in
Hmm.
alignment with like that California oak
Hmm.
idea and putting a different spin on it, having it be a little bit more organic looking versus like the
Hmm.
80s. I always see that oak and I always think of like the 80s
I
and oak
know.
is coming back, but
I'm guessing that somebody did this, especially the mirror stuff in the 80s, early 80s.
it looks like
So,
it. I mean, it just has that vibe to it.
yeah.
Oak is coming back. I love oak in the more natural, not so honey, not so orangey
Yeah.
flavors and not shiny, but more of like the matte, like the whitewashed oak is really pretty.
Sure.
But yeah, I think having something a little bit more organic, smaller, and just opening up that space and creating something really dramatic in there because I'm looking at your space and there's not one thing that's like, being highlighted or being like the focus. And I think also having like that piece of art
Sure.
that's going to be there, it's just going to really create a beautiful curated corner that's going to feel good. And it's not
Hmm.
going to, it'll still have that coziness because of the light that you're putting in there, but it's not going to feel like
Hmm.
you're in, you're closed in.
Got it. And that's comes from the top heavy aspect of
Hmm.
it, you think? Yeah.
Yeah, the top heavy, and then that mantle again. It's like coming all the way across. It just cuts that room. It's a lot.
It's so weird. Yeah. I mean, and the stuff that people have, I mean, again, this is my first house. So the things that people have done over the years and the cheap things that people, they go to Home Depot and they think, oh, well, these are the choices I have. So that must be all the choices that exist in the world.
Yeah.
It's like, well, no, if you think about it a little bit, you can do something really interesting, but just with nicer materials.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
are there any other materials for the mantle that you would do besides wood, or would you stick in the wood zone?
I'm really feeling the wood zone just because of the stone that's there, wanting to keep in
Yeah.
alignment with the naturalness of it. I thought if we bring anything more modern, it's going to look out of place, kind of like what they did with this mantle now.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I just feel like
Okay.
there could be, yeah, it just feels more organic. Like it seems like something more organic needs to be there.
Okay. And then for the piece of art above the fireplace,
Hmm.
color wise, I like bright colors. What would you do for something in that direction?
I would stick with like oranges, the rust, maybe some yellow, like in those sort of
Okay.
if since you're talking about brighter colors, I wouldn't do
Hmm.
red, but I'm feeling more of like a rust orange, yellow scene over there. Do you have something in mind that you're thinking of or are you just kind of wanting to go on a
I
art hunt?
don't.
Yeah, I could see something like almost like a vintage piece or like a vintage oil or like something kind of funky.
Hmm.
Like maybe if you go to a thrift store or something like that, just something a little quirky is what I'm seeing there.
I'll
Um,
have no problem
there's
with
this,
that. Yeah.
I think you'll find something
Yeah.
definitely. And there's people that, which I really think is cool, is they'll take like a oil piece and they'll like if it's like a lake scene, they'll like paint like the Loch Ness monster in the water, or they'll
Sure.
put like a
Hmm.
spaceship like in the sky, like something kind of funky.
Hmm.
But I think you won't have any problem finding something a little kooky to stick there.
Great. Okay.
Hmm. Yeah, I would embrace all
Um,
that.
Great. And are books, if I were to do the bookshelf in the corner,
Hmm.
is there a heaviness to that? I mean, obviously books are,
Yeah, so basically what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to create some breathing room. So you can definitely have some books. So I would have some books lined up vertical, have a couple flat, but you don't want to fill the bookcase with books.
yeah.
You're really curating a piece. So you're going to have things stacked. You're going to give some variation. And then you can
Hmm.
always incorporate, art in there, figurines. Like I would maybe put some plants in there but you're going to want to give it some breathing room. So like if I was over there, I would probably, like, the books that are at the very top, maybe take out half of those that are stacked up, move the other ones over, and then put maybe a smaller object versus the glass ball that's there. And then the next row, maybe have just like a box, like a really cool box there with a crystal or one of your figurines or any of those things that you found. So it's like two things. And then the next row, maybe there's a piece of art that's leaning on the shelf there. And then there's like a plant and two more books that are just sitting on top of each other. So then you're just creating these different layers without piling everything on. Because the last thing you want it to look like is like where you just like shoved everything on there, and then that's where it gets super, super heavy.
Yeah. Okay. Great.
And you've got a ton of really cool stuff and accessories that you can. And then the other fun thing is you've got a lot of things you can like switch things out. Like switch it up throughout the month or throughout the year, and bring in something else to highlight. Or you can curate it to where there's different themes and you highlight something that particular month, and it'd be really cool.
Okay, great. Well, I guess I'll be looking for a master craftsman.
I know you come down to San Diego. There's a company called San Diego Urban Timber, and they basically take wood that it has fallen or that needs to come down because the trees have died, and they will create furniture, or they can make a mantle for you. There's another resource down here called TH&H, and they have like slabs of wood, and they also have like the brackets for the fireplaces. There might be one up in LA too.
There's a big one here.
Yeah, so you can even just go take a look at what they have, and if they have a recommendation for somebody that can finish it for you and install it. It's a pretty easy installation. And I don't know how handy you are about demoing that out yourself and how you feel about it, but you'll probably have to repair the drywall a little bit, especially with the mantle and I don't know how they applied the mirror. They might have glued that on, so some drywall repair.
Yeah. Okay.
I know it's sort of a project.
It's a project, but I mean, I'm not afraid to do it. For the size of the mantle, you would do smaller than the fireplace, or wider?
So wider. So I would do between 4 and 6 inches off on each side.
Got it. Okay.
And then your picture, whatever art you do there, I would take that in about 6 inches on each side of the
got it.
Of the actual stone.
The edge of the mantle. Oh, of the stone.
I would do it of the stone, because the stone is the bigger piece of it.
Okay.
So you're gonna be like the art piece, the mantle, and then the fireplace.
Got it. Okay, great.
And so you'll have to send me some photos of you demoing or what you find in your adventures.
Yeah, I will love to keep you posted on it. And, I've done so much to this place already, but the living room is kind of like the last chunk.
Yeah.
Which I don't know why. I mean, it's the room I spend probably the most time in. So,
well, that's why.
Yeah.
We kind of forget about those spaces that we're in all the time. We just become blind to it and kind of, put it off. And it's just one of those things that happens. And that is your money corner. So I would, if you do the bookshelf or whatever, I would definitely like have a very healthy, beautiful plant there. If you're into bringing in a crystal
light is
or whatever.
The problem, though.
Oh, right. If you can do, and I would still have some sort of light there, even if you're just doing like a single pendant. You know what I mean? Like, even if you don't do like the big piece, do something like that.
I mean, I would probably lean toward the light versus the shelving.
The bookshelf. Yeah. That's my preference. I think it would be much more dramatic, and I think you can find something really cool that's big in that space.
Yeah, and I'm a lamp light person. I only turn the overhead lights on to take the photos. So having something that can be a soft but dramatic piece would be perfect for my eyesight.
Yeah, just having that glow in that corner, I think will be really rad.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Great.
So I'm excited for you.
Thank you.
You're
I
very
always
welcome.
trust your judgment, so
Well, I appreciate that. All right. Well, we'll see ya. Thank
great. I'll
you.
keep you posted.
Okay.
Thanks so much.
You've been listening to the Holistic Interior Design Business podcast. If it's one that you have been enjoying, please share with anyone else that you think can benefit from this knowledge and leave us a 5-star review that helps us get seen and found by other new and aspiring interior designers. And if you're looking for mentorship, I invite you to join our club here at the Design Coven. It's a bridge between school and real life interior design. We get in much deeper there. We have virtual and in-person events. So everyone is welcome. You don't need to have a design degree to be part of it, just an interest in holistic interior design. I also want to thank our editor, Marcy Ferry, and lastly, Kinseth Thibodeau, who is our music composer. Until next time, be well, and we will see each other soon.